Back to In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay offensive lineman T.J. Lang.
We are back here at the fifth quarter in Little Chute. Good to have you along here this evening, along with T.J. Lang, my brand new co-host for the season, and Bryan Bulaga is our guest. I'd like to welcome our new stations on our Woodward radio network, up to 24 stations this season, 8 new stations in the fold, and new listeners up in Adams Friendship on WDKM, in Amory on WXCE, up in Anago on WACD, in La Crosse WFBZ, in Sparta WKJL, make that WKLJ, my apologies, in Wapaka WDUX-FM, in Wausau WTDTX, and in Whitehall, WHTL. Those are our new affiliates on board this evening. We thank you folks for coming on board, and especially thanks to the Mole Lake Casino Resort and Conference Center, our major network sponsor on board this season. Well, the NFL wants to see 18-game regular season, reduce the preseason. It's likely going to happen, but it is an issue with the players. How big of an issue is it, you guys?
I think it's huge. You know, those extra 2 games are, you know, that's 2 more opportunities, you know, that you had to possibly, you know, get injured. You know, heaven forbid there's injury, but you know, that's the biggest thing that the players are trying to fight right now is, you know, we want to stay healthy. And 16 games, I mean, your body is pretty beat up after that. So, you know, I think they're, you know, hopefully they can work out a deal where, you know, if we have to play 18 games, you know, that they can I don't know, you know, I'm not really sure how the contract negotiations are going right now, but, you know, hopefully, I'm not totally against it, but I know a lot of the older guys, those 2 extra games, you know, it's tough. You know, after 16 games, you're pretty beat up.
It sounds like concessions are going to have to be made in several areas by the league. Certainly, the preseason will be shortened, but it has to go beyond that because football has become such a year-round job that they'll have to cut back on the length of OTAs, maybe get rid of OTAs altogether, off-season workout program shortened. I mean, just whatever it takes to allow you guys to, you know, kind of recuperate and not be, you know, banging your bodies for every day of the year.
Yeah, and that's all part of the players' health too. Mm-hmm. You know, if we go to 18 games, we you know, they definitely want to shorten the off-season down a little bit and you know, give us a chance to stay healthy going into camp. You know, you're talking about possibly playing 22 games, you know, whoever goes to the Super Bowl. So that's a long year. You know, that's pretty tough. And, you know, hopefully they can get a deal done and, you know, that can coincide with the players, what we want. And, you know, it's not a huge thing that I don't really think right now in my stage of career, but putting myself in guys like, you know, Chad Clifton's shoes, you know, I'm sure he's pretty sore already as it is. So once we get the 18th game, you know, it's going to be a long season.
Yeah. Running backs, you know, those guys, I mean, their careers are pretty short as it is, and now you add a couple more games where they get knocked around a little bit more. That certainly is an issue. Are you guys big union guys? I mean, do you follow that stuff, or do you know?
I follow it a little bit. You know, I don't know every single specific detail, yeah. But you know, I'm aware of a couple of the major problems, at least, that are threatening to hold us out next year. But you know, I'm right now I'm more focused on my job and you know, this season.
Who's your running? Is Tauscher?
Yeah, Tausch, and I know you know, Al. Both those guys. You know, they talk a lot with the union reps, and you know, they're trying their hardest to get a deal done. And you know, the last thing anybody wants is to sit next year out. That wouldn't be good for the players, the fans. You know, that wouldn't be good for anybody.
All right, we're going to talk about something that, you know, can be fun. It can be sometimes overdone. Probably is that way at the high school, maybe even the college level. But hazing is always an issue each and every season, and I think in some NFL training camps it might be worse than others. And rookies certainly, you know, are what we're talking about. And since, Bryan, you're the rookie here at this table, what kind of hazing has happened to you here in Green Bay?
It hasn't been anything bad at all. I mean, making coffee every morning, donuts, a dinner, a couple dinners, nothing bad. No tying up to a goalpost or what you saw in Hard Knocks with that, you know, escapade. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
But nothing like that. I mean, it's a class organization. They treat their guys with the utmost respect, and the guys on the team, everyone's been a rookie, and everyone knows how they want to be treated. So, you know, it's the typical stuff, a couple dinners, stuff here and there, but nothing nothing over the top.
Now, I would imagine as a lineman, I mean, if let's say the quarterbacks go out, there's 3 of them. If you count the one on the practice squad, dinner's probably pretty cheap. You take out the offensive line, there's a side of beef on the table right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's
probably a little pricey, isn't it?
It's a nice bill. I was told that the bill I got wasn't too bad, but to me, that's still
nothing.
bad. He got hit hard last year, I guess, but anything over $1,000 to me is bad. I'm not used to seeing a bill that high, so I thought it was a lot, but I guess it wasn't. But whatever.
How much was yours? Did you get hit with?
Mine was $3,500 last year. Yeah, so it was tough. They decided to go to the nicest restaurant in Pittsburgh when we played the Steelers last year, and man, that wasn't fun. That didn't settle with me good for a few weeks.
I'll have water.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
You know what a pine float is, don't you? It's a toothpick and a glass of water.
Yeah.
Stick to that. You'll be cheap.
Well, I think I probably spent about $1,000 on food and probably $2,500 on a couple expensive bottles of wine for the other guys. So I made sure I got my fair share of glasses of wine. That's for sure.
What's the worst you went through, TJ?
Really, like Bryan said, I mean, paying for the few meals, getting drinks for the meetings. You gotta get waters, Gatorades for the guys. Buying food before the flight. When we travel, the rookies are responsible for taking down everybody's order and getting all the food right. And if you mess up one little detail on the guy's order, they're not very happy. So, that was probably the worst thing, getting the food, because we have those Saturday morning meetings and jog-throughs, and you're scrambling afterwards to call the place, put the order in, leave half hour early, go pick up the food, make sure everything's right. So, we don't do anything too bad, but it's just part of the tradition, and that's another way that you earn the veterans' respect. You don't complain about it, you just do it. Everybody's gone through it, and it's just part of being a rookie.
Yeah. How about college? A little worse there?
It wasn't bad for me at all at college either. Singing the fight song, talent show, nothing too bad.
What'd you have to do at the talent show?
I did a skit with some of the coaches, making fun of some of the coaches. It was pretty good. You get your coaches down pretty good in camp.
Yeah.
They're freakouts and everything. So you can get a pretty good skit in. And I did our offensive line coach. I think I hit it pretty good.
I think the worst thing I went through last year, I take that back. I don't know if many of you guys saw it on the ESPN did this little, thing with Aaron Rodgers and Rookie Hazen. They asked me to do it, and the whole skit kind of involved me basically getting booed and getting stuff thrown at me because I was doing such a poor job in the talent show. And at the very end, A-Rod hurled a head of lettuce at me, and it hit me square in the cheek. So I wasn't too happy about that. I mean, he's got a pretty good arm, so he pelted me pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, it wasn't good. I wasn't very happy.
No, I know.
Everybody else got pleasure out of it.
It's good for everybody except for the guy that got hit. Yeah, don't forget, we've got our email question of the week coming up, sponsored by Granite Peak Ski Area in Wausau each week. We'll be rewarding the email question of the week winner with a 2-night stay and lift tickets for 2 days at Granite Peak. So you go now to inthehuddleshow.com and email us your question for TJ and or Bryan, and we'll get those questions on, and we'll pick a winner coming up just a little bit later in the show. So, all right, that's the hazing. Well, I did hear, some of those veteran guys can be a little relentless. There was one day in the locker room, and I think that was when you had the hip flexor and you missed a couple of practices, and Scott Wells was riding you pretty good. I think
he's salty. He's salty. He's a salty guy. But
I think he used the words something like, "Why did you come to work, Bryan?" Or "Oh no, that's right, you didn't," or something like
That's typical Scott. Right
Scott likes to get on guys.
Yeah, that's typical right there.
He's a fun guy.
All right, Aaron Rodgers sacked 50 times last season. Not all of it on the offensive line, but TJ, what was the offseason like, knowing that happened, and much of it during the first 9 weeks, and you guys really corrected a lot of those problems, but you want to make sure that doesn't happen again. What was the offseason like?
Well, that was the very first PowerPoint they put up when we had our first meeting. Going into OTAs, our main goal as an offense was to protect the quarterback, and we didn't really do that the way we wanted to the first half of the year last year. we had a meeting about halfway through the year, I remember, as an offense, and everybody kind of took responsibility in it. We didn't really blame it on, one guy or one position group. It was a matter of the whole offense. So, the second half of the year, I don't know the number we let up, but it was, dramatically a lot less than what we had the first season or the first half of the year. And, you could tell we ended up going 7-1, and we could see, the type of potential we had with the receivers we have, and, with Aaron and, giving him time, he's going to sit back there and do some special things. So that was our top goal, coming into the off season, and I think we've done a pretty good job with it so far in the preseason, and we're getting better with it, and we're excited about where we're going as a unit this year, and we're just excited that that part of our flaws are over with.
All right, offensive part of this football team looking pretty good during training camp. We'll see if it can continue here with the regular season opener coming up. Email question of the week coming up next. Back with more after this on the Woodward Radio Network.